Hello, welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Kelly Taylor, and you're listening to I Feel Fat Today. As always, please check us out on YouTube at I Feel Fat Today podcast, where you can find full video episodes. Please subscribe. You will find full video episodes for most every episode except for this one, just the intro to the pod. The interview with our guest is going to be on video, but the intro, I do not have the ability to do video, so we're just going to do a little audio ep for the beginning, the front half of the pod, and it's going to be short and sweet. I am recording this I don't know if it's considered late at night or early in the morning, but I have to be at the airport in like 3 hours for a very busy flight, and everything's all over the place. And I am, for some reason, obsessing about having the apartment be spotless before I leave. And there are just so many things to do that I do not have the ability to get done. So I don't know. Here I am. This is going to be a little rambly, so I'm just going to apologize a million times for that. Okay. I don't have a topic or anything to cover for the beginning of the podcast because I had a crazy week. If you listen to this episode the day it comes out, then I may have died and gone to heaven because I am seeing Taylor Swift in Denver today on Friday. And I can't speak now. I don't have the ability to. I'm at a loss for words because I don't know. Honestly, it's like, it doesn't feel real. And I keep I don't even want to talk about it because I'm worried that something's going to happen, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to put that energy out into the world. I'm just really excited, and I cannot wait to tell you all about it on the next episode when I return. So exciting. I'm going to Denver, and of course, when great things are on the horizon and exciting things are afoot, that's when, it's the perfect opportunity for something to go wrong. And earlier this week, we had a little bit of a medical emergency for my dear Finnegan. He's fine. We're fine. But he wouldn't let me touch his leg on Friday and was limping around. He couldn't really walk. So we rushed him over to the emergency vet. Shout out to Veg. It was an expensive visit, but they were fantastic. They took him right away. They did blood work and an x-ray, and for, a pretty penny, they couldn't give me anything definitive, which is not their fault. I mean, God, I could never be a vet. But basically, he's on a nice little cocktail of muscle relaxers and painkillers. So he's, floating. He's doing great. He's chilling, and I've seen a little bit of an improvement in him. He's jumping around a little bit more, but we still have to carry him up and down the stairs, which is just oh my God. What is it about animals that make them so cute when they're so pathetic? But yeah, so please, head over to Finny's Instagram, my cousin Finny, and give him lots of love and send him good vibes. He's fine. He's totally fine. But my baby had to give me quite the stare before I go off on a little vacay to Denver to visit my best friend from high school and to see our girl Taylor. So, exciting stuff, really exciting stuff. Go to my Instagram to see, my outfits and whatever. Dang, I think I had something else I was going to tell you guys, but it's not coming to me. And you know what? I think just given where I am with time and how I got to move things along, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Let me do some plugs. As you know, follow the podcast on Instagram. I Feel Fat Today. Follow me on Instagram. Hello, this is Kelly. Subscribe to our YouTube and leave a review at Apple Podcasts. I saw people leave reviews. Thank you so much. That's so helpful and wonderful, and I really, really appreciate it. And without further ado, our guest. You know, we don't even need an intro to the podcast because this episode with my guest this week stands completely on its own. She is so interesting. She's lived quite the life and was just so open and eager to talk. And we had a great conversation about, diet culture and then traveling and so her fun sexcapades while traveling. And it's a really fun episode, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to it. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. Without further ado, please give the warmest welcome to stand-up comedian Christiana Jackson. Christiana Jackson, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming over and doing it. I'm really excited to talk to you.
I'm excited to be here. Also, just want to note to everybody, the apartment's amazing.
Thank you.
Kelly's apartment is fucking dope.
I love to hear it. What you'll have to come over once I get done doing a little redecorating. I'm in the process of redecorating because it was an adjustment when Joe moved in a year ago. So thankfully he's like a minimalist and doesn't have anything.
Smart.
So it really worked out for me, who is very much a maximalist. So but thank you. I appreciate that.
It's so cute.
I like to have little like comedy girl hangs
over,
nice. So I'll invite you to the next one.
Oh, I would love that.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. So you are a fellow Jersey person, and I feel like I knew that, but I didn't remember until I was like looking at some of your stuff online the other day. So where in New Jersey are you from?
I'm from a small, sad town called Phillipsburg.
Oh, Phillipsburg.
Peaburg, yeah.
I have a friend from college.
Who's from Peaburg?
Yeah. Do you know her?
The sounds like a familiar town name.
Yeah.
But I don't think I know a I was probably so much older than her.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But the last name, I'm like, oh, that sounds like some Peaburg shit.
Yeah.
What did she say about it? Did she ever talk about how the town was?
She is very wealthy. So it was...
So why does she live in Peaburg?
It was... Maybe she lives like a town over.
Probably.
Or something.
Yeah.
But so it was just fun going over to like her grandma's big house and like, going in her hot tub.
Yeah. She's probably someplace outside of the burg. Yeah. Because Peaburg itself is a very sad, poor, dying town. My growing up, the town was super white, blue collar, racist.
For South Jersey, you don't say.
Well, it's North Jersey.
Oh, isn't that west?
It's Northwest Jersey, right by Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
It's like an hour and a half from the city.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Everyone thinks it's south, though, because they never heard of it, which I totally understand. Because why would anyone know where Peaburg is?
Okay,
it's nowhere.
Okay. So when I think South Jersey, I think like farmland, and Peaburg
is rural.
It's like everything's far apart. You have like acres of shit.
Yeah,
so that's why I thought south, but it's west.
No. Yeah, I mean, also just literally everyone will go, Phillipsburg, where's that, south? Because no one knows South Jersey. Right. So everyone's like, let's just dump it. And I'm like, I totally get that. But yeah, it was a very hostile place to grow up, to be honest.
Did you have siblings, or do you have siblings?
I have an older sister. She's a year and 12 days older than me.
Okay, almost Irish twins.
Yes.
Okay, cool. My brother is a year and 11 days older than me.
Oh, wow. What a coincidence.
What's your birthday?
7/17.
7/17.
It's cancer season.
Wait, 7? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, today is... Today's the 10th.
Yeah. It's in a week.
So in a week. Amazing. What are we doing?
I'm going to be in Mexico getting some dick.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Amazing.
I'm going to be 42. It's kind of crazy.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Girl, you do not look 42. I don't know what a 42-year-old is supposed to look like.
I do know that it's not like me. That's the thing. I'm like, I know I don't look... I don't have any... I think it's because I don't have any kids.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever a man starts to drive me crazy, I get rid of them.
You just cut it loose.
Word. I also do drink a lot of water, and I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So I don't really drink a lot, and I don't do drugs.
Right.
So I think the cocktail of like trying to keep life stressful and then actually taking good care of myself.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not thin, I think that cocktail has just kept me looking fresh.
Well, all I have to say, it's kind of the ethos of this podcast, but like, you don't have to look like someone that eats a lot of vegetables to like have a certain body type.
100%. I'm proof of that.
Paying dividends because look at your skin. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And just your, overall vitality. And I'm very happy to hear you say that you drink a lot of water, because that's like the one good thing I'm good at. I drink water and I put on SPF.
Yeah, there you go.
I will burn. So because I've never gotten Botox or anything.
Oh yeah.
And I'm 30.
Well, that's good, because it's, oh man, the youth.
I know.
It's tricky. Like, people start fucking up their faces at such a young age.
It's because of the rise of reality television and social media.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I guess that's the thing. Like, doing comedy and me being in my 40s, I am always around people younger than me.
Yeah.
So I think it's like I don't necessarily feel a generational divide, but then when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, oh, when I was in middle school, like in high school, Botox wasn't even out yet.
Yeah.
So like there wasn't that influence. I grew up in the age of fake tits though. And so that is
new technology.
Yeah. So that has been actually the interesting thing for me in terms of, well, I've had a lot of things that go through in terms of body acceptance, but one of them I realized probably like 10 years ago is like, oh, my concept of tits is all off because I went through puberty in the 90s when there were fake tits.
Yeah.
So my concept of tits is still very much like, oh, they're supposed to be like all the way up here.
Yeah.
And
Pamela
then
Anderson.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that reigned. And then, I mean, I naturally have big tits.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay. Like,
I'm out.
Word, kind of. And then I didn't realize that body parts could be a fad. So then once big tits went out of style, I was like, well, I still got them. Like, these are mine. I didn't purchase them. And then I was like, oh, all right. Well, people don't like big tits anymore.
Isn't that weird?
But they do.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing that's so weird is like, because I always had a big butt.
Word.
And not very much in the tit department. And so growing up, and as you know, the early 2000s was all like low-rise jeans. We called Jessica Simpson Jumbo Jessica.
Yes.
And she was a size 6. Very deranged things were happening in the media and with that sort of thing. And I remember J-Lo. It was like a big thing about J-Lo having a big butt.
But
and
then
I remember being like, yes, J-Lo, like, thank you. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of like, then it, came back around with Kim.
Yes.
And now we're going back because of Ozempic down to like thin is in.
Yes.
So.
Thin is in right now. It's weird. It's weird to see. Well, it is. Well, that's the thing. There's like what we're told is what people like or society and men or whatever. Yeah. And then I know that regardless of how I look, I pull so much dick.
Put it into practice. Yeah. It's a different story.
Yeah. It's like, nah, I mean, and also, I mean, I will say this also, like, even like, right. The thing that's really weird to me is like BBLs. Yeah. Because first of all, it's just I mean, butts are butts. Butts are great, whatever size it is. I like to say I have a top heavy ass. Nice. So standing up, like I always wanted a bubble ass where it's bigger on the bottom. Standing up, it's nothing interesting. And then one time someone took a photo of my ass while we were fucking. But I was bent over and I had no idea. I was like, what's that picture? He's like, that's you. I just took that. And I was like, that's my ass? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, I never knew my ass when it's bent over is epic.
Oh, that's amazing.
Standing, it's nothing interesting. Bent over. Yeah, no, it is truly like, that's why I'll tell people, I'm like, yeah, standing is nothing, but man, you see that shit bent over. It is it's my own ass. This was literally like 2019's first time I saw a picture of my ass from that angle. But anyway, my point is though, butts are great, whatever. I mean, not everyone can have a big ass, but it's weird to me that people with asses, like black women and like women of color who already have asses, are just getting it like magnified.
Right.
But then I've heard a lot of men say like they don't really like it.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like it's females, women that are doing this.
Yes.
And we're doing it for the male gaze.
Yeah, but then
they don't really like it. And it's like, so I guess we're kind of doing this for other women, aren't we? You know, to have like the smallest waist and the biggest ass.
Yeah.
The bigger your ass, the smaller your waist.
Word. I mean, I do think that men like that look, but they don't like the feel from what I've heard.
Because it's all about part of like what's so great about bigness is like the hand feel.
Yeah, we're squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a whole handful of it.
Yeah.
Really
It's comforting.
Yeah.
Even like when I've been with a guy, I've been with lots of men of different sizes. And sometimes when you're a fat dude, you're like, yeah, man, first of all, I can just really pound it out. I'm not going to break anything, whatever. But then it's like, oh, yeah, this is comfortable.
Yeah.
It is soft and warm, you know?
The cuddle time is unmatched.
Yeah,
As opposed to like someone that's bony or muscular, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm laying on rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, they both are great.
I don't mind the muscles.
I don't mind the muscles. In my youth, oh, man, I used to pull in my youth. When I was in my early 20s, I don't even know. I guess when I'm out drinking, I have unbridled confidence.
Good.
And I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And the muscles, it's like a less rocks, more memory foam mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also the thing that's interesting is a lot of men who are super fit aren't looking for women, the women we think they're looking for.
Totally.
A lot of those dudes do like women that have some meat on their bones.
Yeah.
Because they don't really want someone who's, well, I mean, this is all relative, but just in my experience of having had lots of like what society considers dudes that are out of my league.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, they're still trying to have a good time. And also I think for them, if you are a muscular dude, there's the whole psychology of like the type of like the physics almost of sex. It's like if you're a big dude, you're not trying to break a woman open,
right? In
theory, right? So it's like, oh, if they're like big and muscular, they're like, all right, cool. Like at least a woman with some meat on her can absorb the shock.
Yeah. That's a funny way to put it. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so you grew up. You're a '90s kid. Like you,
I guess, yeah, I'm an 80s baby and a 90s kid. Yeah, that's accurate.
You are what 90s babies think they are. Like I'm born in '92.
Oh yeah.
And all of my friends think they have and I say all my friends, I'm putting myself in this, but I'm able to discern the fact that our memories are not that of the 90s. Ours are of the early 2000s.
Yes.
And I don't know why it's such a pet peeve of mine that it gets mixed up. You being born in the 80s and having your puberty or you know, growing up literally in the 90s, it fascinates me about the 90s is diet culture.
Oof.
So when was the concept of dieting like introduced to you?
Word. I'm really glad we're talking about this because especially I feel like whenever it's talked about in terms of like women and body and dieting and like food related issues, it's always talked about only in white women.
Yeah.
My mom had definitely had an eating disorder and had definitely had body dysmorphia. What's interesting about my family is because we're originally from the South, and my mom's generation was the first generation born and raised up north. So my great grandparents moved our family up south, from the South up north to Jersey. But I do think about my mom growing up. She grew up in a town called Kenilworth. So Kenilworth was predominantly white. So I wonder if some of her body dysmorphia and food related issues had to do with the fact that she was a black girl in a white environment.
Right.
I mean, then she did the same thing to us, but whatever, just a different town.
That's just what happens.
Yeah. It's like, oh, all right. Yeah. Well, might as well make this generational. But so my
universal woman experience.
Yeah, word. So my mom had a lot of body issues that then when my sister and I was very, very thin and very lean. And then around 9, I started putting on weight, which now looking back, I'm like, oh, I wasn't even fat. I was just a solid kid. But I started putting on weight, and my mom became obsessed with my body. So we didn't have health care. My parents were performing artists. We didn't have health care. We didn't go to the doctor. My mom would be like, let's figure out if we should take you to a doctor for you to lose weight. She was so focused on it.
Yeah.
So my introduction to any body image issues, it was through my mom. And her constant obsession and pressure. And then when I was around 12, she had us both take herbal diet pills.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I guess that was, the reach around, if it's herbs, but it's
right.
I am still 12 years old.
Yeah.
Things really started to get fucked up in my life because I was taking herbal diet pills.
What happens to your body when you're messing with it at that level, at that age?
Yeah.
You're setting your kids up for failure with that. And your mom didn't know she was doing that. She thought she was doing her best.
She kind of did because we had to keep it a secret.
Oh, what do you mean?
She did not. She made me keep it a secret because she's like, if your stepdad knows, he's not going to be happy about that, which is because I shouldn't be taking diet pills.
Taking diet pills.
Yeah.
Which is speed also, depending on the diet pill.
Yeah, no, it was not good. It was not, it was definitely herby. And then, but it just wasn't, it fucked with my body.
Yeah.
And then also just you start to then internalize all of this. My mom was so obsessed. I remember, it's funny, one time I came home from school and she was she goes, you'll never get any dramatic roles. I just come home from school. No, hey, how was your day? She just looked at me and she's like, you'll never get any dramatic roles. You'll only get comedic parts. And I thought to myself, when did I say I want to be an actress?
Yeah.
So I just walk in a room and then she's like, all day she was just thinking I gotta let her know.
Yeah.
But then it's funny because I remember thinking first of all, bitch, we have seen Oprah in The Color Purple. You quote that movie a few times a month. We all saw Fat Oprah playing a dramatic role. Oh, all of a sudden, it's also just hey, I mean, how about how are you? How was your day?
Right.
Why are your grades not doing so well? Oh, maybe because you're taking herbal diet pills.
Yeah.
And all your shit's getting fucked up.
Yeah. And I think also parents of that generation do at the time didn't see the fact that the grades being bad as a result of a bunch of factors, but probably more directly you taking diet pills. It's okay, so now you're fat and your grades are bad. It's okay, well, I think there's a cause and effect thing happening here that you're not seeing, Mom. And I, as a kid, don't have the ability to point that out either.
No, of course. Well, what ended up happening is my stepdad was Italian American and also bipolar. So oof. and also a water sign. There's a lot going on in my household. He was a Cancer too. My whole household was all Cancers. My mom was a Pisces. Too many emotions.
Too many
emotions.
And no one focusing.
No, definitely not. But so my stepdad being bipolar when he was in a manic, it's bipolar. He's bipolar, but the paranoia was very real. So anyway, I had a headache from the diet pills, and someone gave me aspirin, and then one of the aspirin dropped on my bathroom floor. My stepdad found it and then was convinced that I was taking drugs. So, and then convinced my mom and my sister that I was also taking drugs. So then there was not an intervention, but they confronted me. And then meanwhile, I'm like, my drug dealer's your wife, motherfucker.
Yeah.
She never said, because my behavior was obviously a little off.
Yeah.
Right? And so they were convinced that I was taking drugs. They had searched my room. I could tell, when a pile of messy stuff is a little shifted, and you're like, I didn't leave that pile that way. Right. And I knew immediately, they think I'm on drugs. I knew it because I just knew how crazy they were. Right. So my mom sat there in the in the confrontation.
Yeah.
He brought out a Ziploc bag with the aspirin in it. Yeah, this was a whole Law and Order type. They were like, oh, we want to talk. I was with my grades, and they were like, I sat down and he pulled out the thing and he was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's an aspirin. And then he went through the whole talk.
Oh my God.
And then was like, it is an aspirin. I had it analyzed, which I thought, analyzed, you probably went to the drugstore and they went, that's an aspirin.
Yeah.
But what are we having this whole talk for? You're trying to bait me with an aspirin that I know is an aspirin,
right?
And I'm not on drugs, but your wife is giving me herbal diet pills.
Actually, I am on drugs because mom put me on drugs.
Word. And she said nothing the whole time.
Because she knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
But never took any, like,
right.
responsibility. Also, I didn't lose any weight. So
yeah, because you were growing and you weren't supposed to be losing that weight.
No, it was a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
And then also, I have health issues that now I think I'm like, oh, was it because I was taking those like herbal? I have like problems with my lymphatic system. And I'm like, is it? It started like when I was around 16. I'm like, was it because I was taking these fucking pills that nobody knows what they were anyway?
Not FDA regulated.
No.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Is your mom still alive?
Yeah, I just don't talk to her.
You don't talk to her? No contact or like...
No. I haven't talked to my mom. Last time I talked to my mom, she was flipping out about my comedy because if anyone couldn't tell, I'm a pretty filthy bitch. And I was not as much... It's what's weird is comics will be like, I wasn't raised in a household like yours. And I'm like, you think I was raised to be eating ass? What the fuck's wrong with you? That's me. That's me. I wasn't raised in that environment. But my mom sent me a very long rant about like... which I told her for years not to watch, and she was sending me a rant about my comedy and I was getting ready for a show, and I'm like, I don't got time for this shit. But yeah, that's why I was like, all right, this is like too toxic of a dynamic.
Yeah.
Because I don't really speak to her anyway. I haven't seen my mom in like 6.5 years.
Yeah.
We don't really talk anyway. So it's like, well, don't just all of a sudden then be like, oh, hey, I think you should stop talking about your sex life. But also I'm like, I remember at one point I was like, I'm a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
At what age am I allowed to talk about my sex life, lady?
Yeah. Like I may be your daughter, but you have to understand that when you gave birth to me, you gave birth to an autonomous being that is going to grow into a woman. I'm not a 16-year-old under your house.
Yeah, like I'm a grown woman, dude. Like,
right. And that's like, just hearing that is my favorite saying. And I try not to use too much therapy speak because did you see that stuff with Jonah Hill? The like screenshot.
No, I didn't get it. I like saw the headline and I was like, I'll look at this in a little bit. I know.
That's kind of how
I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So for that, the only reason why I bring it up is because like in Jonah Hill's text to his girlfriend, he uses like, this is my boundary for what I need from a partner in a relationship, and like just kind of using terms from therapy in a weaponized way. And so when I talk about use these therapy terms, I try not to overuse them because it's like the word narcissist or gaslighting. Word. We overuse them. Yeah. But I'm going to say my favorite like saying or thing to remind myself when I'm trying to figure something out is that we create boundaries to keep people in our lives, not kick them out. And your mother seems like somebody that is not able to handle a boundary. No. And so that's why she would, say to you, a grown woman, you can't be online talking about your sex life. And it's funny that you said that because when your mom, when you described you coming home from school and your mom being like, you'll never get any dramatic roles, you'll only get comedic roles, that was probably because she was an actress.
My mom, she did acting. She did a little bit. My mom was very much a Pisces, and the fact that she did a lot of different stuff, she swam in a lot of creative waters, but acting was one of them. But I never said I wanted to act.
Right. But because for her, she put that shit on you. Yeah. That's what she did.
Which also it's funny now because I'm like, well, looks like you were right, bitch, because I am a comedian.
Thank you for giving me a bipolar stepdad and you being crazy, because here I am being funny as fuck.
Word. Well, I told her, I told her for years, I'm like, just don't watch my comedy. Like it's not for you. Yeah. It's fine. But like, that's the thing. I'm like, okay, it's like she went and watched. I'm like, you were just looking for something.
Yep. It's just not for you. There are so many other comics you can look to.
Or just like, I don't know, lady, just, I don't know, like you're not, I don't think, some people just aren't, like they're just not ever going to get stand up. Yes. She's one of them. I'm like, oh, well, that's not true. Actually, one year we watched when Kevin Hart in the early days, OG Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I put that special on to cut the tension between my sister and mom and I, and it worked until it ended, and then everything just exploded anyway.
You put a Band-Aid on a bullet
Word.
wound.
I was like, this will work, and it did. And then I was like, well, the special's over. But but in general, she's not a comedy audience. No.
Got it. Okay.
She takes things too seriously. She's too sensitive. She's a Pisces.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So, that's very interesting. And I got to say, I wasn't expecting that answer.
Yeah. No, me neither.
Damn.
It's kind of crazy.
So diet pills was like a pretty big, heavy thing for you to have to do or go through, whatever. So did you ever do any kind of like crazy diets or anything like that?
Well, when I was in college, I definitely used to take Stacker 2.
What's that?
Stacker 2 was a non-herbal diet pill.
Okay. Like Gen Spa?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in that vein of like an advertised diet pill.
Yeah.
But I was vegan, so I would actually break the pills open and then just swallow the stuff because it was a gelatin capsule.
Oh, okay. It was like a powdery.
It was disgusting, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was
like
really,
hell.
really gross. Like, but even now, I'm like, oh, I can still taste the Stacker 2.
Yeah.
But when I used to be vegan, but that wasn't at all for anything body wise.
Yeah, what was vegan about?
I just felt like it was in my path to stop eating meat. So I wasn't like, first I was vegetarian, which we had a few like bouts of vegetarianism in my household. But, and even just me independently, but then when I went to college, I just knew, I'm like, all right, like I stopped eating meat and then I stopped eating dairy and I was vegan for 6 years.
Wow.
Word. Also severely anemic.
I was going to say, okay. So I'm glad you said that because I know people that have gone vegan and like, didn't do it nearly as long and actually ended up in the hospital because they didn't do it right.
Yeah, no, it's okay. This is the thing. Everyone's body is built differently and everyone has different requirements. And that's part of the reason why when I was vegan, I never told anyone what the fuck they should eat because I knew that I made a choice for myself. And I think it was also for me, like, I went to college and I think that I needed some structure and discipline, not about food, but like in general, because high school was a chaotic mess, and then when I went to college, I'm like, this is your chance to like get your life right.
Yeah, you're on your own now.
Yeah. I'm like, you need to like, this is your chance to like, this is your only chance to like put yourself back on the right track. So I feel like I just was in a time of being very disciplined in general, but then also when I used to eat meat, I used to get sick a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why at that time I was like just listening to my body, and I used to get sick a lot. Dairy used to make me sick sometimes.
Yeah.
So I just knew I'm like, I need to like stop. And then for a long time, like I wouldn't get sick. But I used to get sick like before that. I used to get sick every week for like,
wow,
starting from let's say like late September, October up until like May. Was always sick with a cold.
Yeah. Oh, hell.
So I think I needed a reset.
Yeah.
But I was severely anemic.
So did you leave home to go to college?
Yes.
Where'd you go? I
went one semester to a terrible hood private college in Massachusetts because my grades like were not very good. So I got into the school, and then as soon as I arrived, I was like, oh, I don't belong here. I just didn't apply myself, but like I know that. But anyway, so I went there one semester, and then I went to Rutgers, like half of New Jersey.
I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't get into Rutgers, and
it's harder now.
Yeah, it was. I graduated high school in 2010, and my grades were good, but I always had a major hang up on standardized tests.
Oh, word.
And my SATs were really, really embarrassingly bad. And and Rutgers really does go off of SATs. And so I didn't get in. But it's, I still have so much love for it because I'm from Saraville, which is like 20 minutes from New Brunswick.
Of course.
Yeah. So like Rutgers is awesome. So that's very awesome. And that's the cool thing about like New Jersey. I don't know about other states, but New Jersey colleges, you can like still be in New Jersey and leave home to go to school. Because that's what happened to me. I went to Montclair State.
Oh, nice.
45 minutes from Sayreville.
Oh, perfect.
But still, I had a dorm, had an apartment. Like, I was like, I'm getting out of this house.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's very cool. Okay, yeah. And I think getting out of the house is really when you're like, I need to do my own thing. And like you said, you needed the structure, so that's why you did the vegan thing.
I think also, I just I didn't feel good when I ate animal products.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like, I think it was a good pause, but if you're going to be vegan, like, now there's more. I mean, I used to cook a lot, and I still cook a lot. So I think that was also a good foundation. I grew up cooking a lot in my house.
Yeah.
So that's why it was kind of easy for me to go vegan. So I was like, oh, yeah, I already know how to cook.
Yeah.
So I would cook quite a bit, but I wasn't eating enough protein still. And then I also just naturally have low blood platelets. So that was not smart. Well, I just didn't know. Right. I didn't know for a long time. But then, like, so my iron was low. And then also I have naturally low blood platelets, so
yeah,
it was a lot. But
were you like passing out?
No, I wasn't passing out, but like my periods were insane.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of plumbing issues in my life. That's part of the reason why I do love and talk about my pussy so much. Cause I'm we have been through it. Like my pussy is great. My plumbing is bad.
Yeah.
But, it has to come out some ways, but we've been fucking through it. But, I did have some like close calls in terms of like, you're not doing well. Like, but then I started taking iron, and then I started to travel and started incorporating meat back in my diet, just with caution.
Yeah. Well, traveling while eating is such an interesting experience.
Yes.
Because being an animal product eater in America is very different than being an animal product eater elsewhere.
Exactly.
Interesting. We're going to, this is a quick tangent, but I just want to ask, because it's interesting because it seemed like your parental figures had weird control things, but also they were like these artist types. So what was sex ever talked about in your house? Did you get like a sex ed from like your mom or anything?
It's like, in retrospect, it is strange. This is where I think the control comes from. My stepdad was raised Catholic. My mom was raised born again.
Wow, okay.
So I think now zooming out and like having all this time pass, I'm like, they were, even though they didn't raise us in either institution, that's how they were raised. Yeah. So they still had that influencing who they were. Plus my mom was a young mom. I mean, not like criminally young, but she was a young mom. And then my stepdad was also young when he became my stepdad. So, they were still for like becoming adults themselves. The blind leading the blind. Yeah. So I think that's where the control comes from. When it comes to sex, what's weird is like, there was a sex talk at school. So I remember my mom having a sex talk with my sister, and I remember thinking, I'm not going to bring this shit up at all. Yeah. It was very uncomfortable. Like, we've had the talk. It was very uncomfortable. My mom's a classic oversharer, too. So just certain things was like, we shouldn't be talking about this. But then in my house, though, we did have Playboy, the Playboy channel.
Really? That like was accessible to you?
Well, they didn't know. I mean, I figured it out. I've been a perverted old man since I was like 9. 10.
It's not just you. Kids are perverted.
Word. But
I will find it.
No, exact. Yeah. I figured out, and I would watch it for years. But I think now also in retrospect, my mom's, I don't think, a very sexual person. Yeah. And now that I know a ton of Pisces, I'm like, that's not their thing. Cancers, we are a lot more like, we're like the freaks of the zodiac. Our sign is literally 69. Like we're a lot more, our drive is harder, our desire to have sex is a lot more. So I'm like, now, I mean, as much as I kind of still I don't like my stepdad, but I'm like, oh man, I know my mom wasn't giving it up enough. Yeah. I know she wasn't getting, I'm like, as someone who's tried to even casually date Pisces. I mean, I was with one yesterday, but anyway, but like his drive is like, so like when he was leaving my house, I was like, hey, how often do you like jerk off? And he was like, he doesn't really want to talk about sex. And he was like, not that much. And I was like, I do it every day. And he goes, yeah, I believe that. I was like, he knows me from the inside out.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, so it's weird because sex was around.
It wasn't like, no, we can't talk about this.
Word. But I also do know, like, once I started having sex, my mom was not cool with, like, there were little microaggressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God forbid her daughter be a whore.
Word. But the thing is, she moved the dick right into my house. It was my friend. Basically, after high school, my best friend in high school, who I had a massive crush on at the time, his mom moved into an apartment and there was no room for him.
Oh, shit.
So my mom was like, oh, he can come stay with us, which is also kind of strange. She's like, you're not mothering me, but now.
Yeah, but no, let's take in this person.
Word. So, but, she moved the dick right.
Did he also get diet pills?
No, he was already skinny.
There you go. That's why he loved him.
Yeah, no, exactly. But, like, so but then, like, he ended up living with us. And I had already had a crush on him. So, I brokered the deal. I was like, hey, I said, we should go to college. I read him an email. And I was like, hey, we shouldn't go to college as virgins, man. I think we should have sex. I think we should just get it over with. Amazing. And then have sex for the summer until we go to college. And then he didn't read it for a few days. And I was like, fuck, dude, you fucked up this friendship.
The ultimate left on red.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, why'd you fucking email him for some dick? And then eventually he saw it and he was like, oh, this is a great idea. And I was like, there we go. So it's like, you can't get pissed that I'm fucking. He's in my house.
Literally in my house.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Do you still talk to that guy?
No. He got mad in 2020 over a joke that I wrote.
No.
Which was not at all offensive. And then he cursed me out. Then he called me like a few days later for real estate advice. And then I was like, are you going to apologize for cursing me out? And he's like, no, I'm not. And that's the last time we spoke.
Damn. What's his sign?
Gemini.
Ooh, okay.
I forget your sign.
I'm Libra.
Oh, you're a Libra? Oh, yeah.
Are Libra freaks?
I love. Okay, this is the thing about Libras. Libras, you guys are. There's actually a Libra. Oh, man, we have a great time. Anyway, someone I have to text. Anyway, but Libras, I have found that you guys will play it cool and be even, but once you need someone to tip the scale.
Yeah.
Once the scale is tipped, then it's a great time.
Yeah.
But if the scale's not tipped, you're just going to keep playing it cool and being very neutral.
Totally.
So now if I match with someone and I know they're a Libra, I just know that I have to bring up the topic, because otherwise they'll be like, oh, well, what are you looking for? And I'm like, all right, you're just trying to, I get it, Libra. Yeah. That's all right. I know I'm gonna tip that scale and we're gonna have a good ass time.
I like that. Tip the scale. So I've had some bad experiences with Libra men, and I know it's a common sentiment.
Cheating?
Yeah, I guess you could call it cheating. We weren't like exclusive. It was like fuckboy kind of stuff.
They're real cheaters.
Libra men are
I've caught a lot of them cheating.
And so
not on me, because I'm not in relate, but I've caught Libra men cheating on their girls with me.
Yeah.
Actually, now there's like
Libra
a whole
man, which is crazy because I'm dating one.
Oh.
But Joe is just not like that.
You guys are both Libras?
Yeah.
Who makes any decisions?
I have been to.
Oh, that explains why your apartment's so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There is a lot of deliberating before we make a decision. We're like, okay, so dinner tonight. Well, there's nothing in the fridge. Okay, so let's. 3 things: Chinese, Thai, or Italian. Like we literally have to go through a process.
Yeah.
Something. So it's very funny that you would ask that. Amazing. I love being a Libra. I feel like I'm a Libra sun. I'm an Aries moon, and I'm a Libra rising. So I am I think the Aries helps.
That helps
push things. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh well, yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Right now it's Aries moon.
Yes.
Right now the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Aries.
Yeah.
But I think for a Libra, yes, you definitely need something, because otherwise sometimes Libras can be super boring.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. So sometimes I've met Libras and then they're dating a sign that's like crazy. And I'm like, no, but they need that.
Yeah.
Or they'll have something in their chart that makes them interesting. And I'm like, okay. Because I've had Libra friends where I'm like, geez, or just like acquaintances where I'm like, this is the boringest motherfucker. Like, my God. But then it's like, okay, they need to be paired with somebody who is more interesting.
Yeah.
But then I also know Libras, when the scale is off, my God, it's really crazy.
When I am unbalanced, I could be a homeless person or a homeless looking person on the street, like that gets filmed and like goes viral on Twitter. Like when I am like when I'm a wreck, when I am like just off my balance, it's not me. I don't know who that person is, but she's crazy. But that's okay. That's
I do
cool.
love Libras though.
Yeah.
Libras also, our signs get along because I remember I read once, it was like, this was about, one of my lovers is, well, we see each other like quarterly, but he is an artist, like a proper artist, like a visual artist. Libra men, best nudes, best jerk off videos. Because there's a narrative to them. There's always something leading up. It's not just like, here's my dick. There's usually something leading up or like a pan. And then it's just great. Amazing. But one of the things I read actually one of the loves of my life was a Libra. He was also, okay, so many cheaters, but whatever. Let me focus. But I read the artist that I see like quarterly. I remember I read in a book, it was like a little tiny horoscope book, and it said if a Cancer and a Libra get together, their house is going to be filled with like art and because aesthetics is very important. The home is super important for Cancers, and then we like see each other on the aesthetic and creative vibe.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that there is like a reason beyond us why we get along.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Listen, I know people talk shit. I think horoscopes are so interesting.
Yeah.
And like the insight into like just what makes people tick and why people are the way that they are.
Also the things you have to work on. That's my thing.
Yes.
I had enough Cancers in my life where I'm like, bitch, you can't be like that. Like, you can't be crazy.
You know May Planner?
Of course, it's her birthday.
Today's her birthday.
Yeah.
So we were chatting today, and she's actually said, I'm a Cancer sun and Leo moon, and so I come off very confident and very, like I can handle things, but I'm very sensitive and like fall apart at anybody trying to, confront me on anything.
Yeah, whenever I see someone else as a Cancer, I'm like, oh man, it's not an easy sign.
Yeah.
I'm a week out from my birthday, so like this is the most sensitive I am. But everyone's like, oh, Cancer's so sensitive. I have a Capricorn moon, so that grounds me a lot.
Yeah.
But the week before, I'd say it's starting about like 5-6 years ago. The week before, I feel everything. I feel life. I feel the good. I feel the bad. I feel like full of gratitude, but like in an overwhelming amount that it makes me emotional. Yesterday, after I hooked up with the I call him he's from Argentina, so he's the Argentine lover. But after we hooked up, oh my God, we were just laying, like there's some jazz playing. I just felt tears just streaming down. I was like, oh, this cold-haired motherfucker can't see me cry. I was like, oh no.
Like I'm not even crying like over sadness. It's just
no, not at all. I was like, oh man, fucking Cancer season.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then I was like, all right, well, at least just let them don't fight it. Just let them roll down and he won't be able to see. And then he went to the bathroom and he came back. I was still crying and he was like, are you crying because I'm leaving? And I was like, no.
No,
I was like, no.
Totally
he's like, are
me.
you sad? He's like, are you sad? I was like, no, I feel great. But it's like,
I'm like,
he's
really
like, oh, I
happy
don't believe
right
you. And he's like, is it because I'm leaving? And I was like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the season.
Ah, that's so cool.
No, it's terrible.
No, I think it's so cool that like cosmically we're feeling things. Like
true, it is good, but
I get very introspective and like I feel like really like I need to make sure I'm grounding myself and I put alone time above everything, like right around my birthday. Like,
oh God,
like
yeah.
October 1st, because I'm the 10th. So October 1st to the 10th, I'm just like, I need to make sure I'm doing what I want to do when I want to do it. I can't be pushed around during this time.
No, yeah.
Like, I'm very careful
time
with like who I hang out with and everything.
Oh, that's smart. That's part of the reason why I'm traveling actually, because I usually don't. After like around 35, I think it started. That's when the weepy birthdays started.
Oh, okay.
And so I would what ended up happening is I would spend the first half of the day usually just crying because I'm just overwhelmed. You know what I think it also is? I call it summer baby syndrome. So for summer babies, not for Leos because they love attention, but like for like Cancers, for example, our birthdays are never celebrated in school.
Never. You can never bring in cupcakes.
Word. So first it's this feeling of nobody gives a fuck. Nobody knows when our birthdays are. But then also as I've gotten older, when I get very overwhelmed from all of the attention.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I was never socialized for this.
Yeah.
We never had that day where everyone's singing at you. So it's just very, very overwhelming, and it makes me super emotional. And just anyone, even if someone says like, I'm so glad we're friends, I'll just start I can't handle it. So yeah, I was like, all right, this year I'm going to spend 6 weeks in Mexico, but first place I'm going is Tulum, which now Tulum's like cool, but I've been going to Tulum since 2012 before there was anything.
Wow.
So I have a very deep energetic connection, which I know now I'm like, oh, yoga and DMT and whatever.
No, you're legit.
Yeah. For me, I'm like,
sell me on
this.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, motherfuckers. I've been out here since before they were fucking DJs.
In 2012, we were not talking about.
No, nobody knew about it.
Cosmic energy. No.
Yeah,
like
but
you are.
But yeah, no, I'm like, it's very important. I feel it's like my relationship with Mexico in terms of the land is very strong.
Yeah.
People wise, I've been through a lot of shit. I've had a lot of great things or fun. I've had fun, but then I've had been treated very, very poorly as well. But anyway, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't want to, my connection with like the energy of Tulum is very, very strong. So I'm like, let's, go, especially because since I'm, how they say like you have like 7-year life cycles. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm starting a new life. I'm starting 42, so I'm starting a new life cycle. So exciting. So I want to like go and just be quiet, listen to the ocean.
Yeah.
Just connect with nature. It sounds so, but my parents were very definitely like late bloom, like born too late hippies. So I did grow up in all that kind of crystal, health food store, granola shit. But yeah, I just want to like go and just be alone for a little while. And then the men are waiting. So be alone, but just like feel nature.
Yeah.
They have their own sweat, like sacred, like sweat, not like a lodge, like rituals. So I want to like go and do that and just like before I start my new.
It sounds like a
year.
really healing way to connect with your body.
Yeah.
Because like you have to, they are doing that and like integrating those feelings.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be also insanely hot.
Yeah.
And it's going to be annoying because now like when I go to the beach, it's like people are doing photo shoots and I'm used to it just being like nobody on the beach and just literally just like laying and listening to the ocean, being like reflecting on life or having like true clarity and breakthroughs, just sitting there. So maybe when it's late. I mean, I've also had some really good makeouts.
Getting high on life in Mexico.
Yeah.
I've only ever been to Mexico City. I've never been to like.
Yeah. Because May had her.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm going back to Mexico City too. It's wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It was one of the best trips I've ever been on.
Yeah.
It just was I don't have words for it. I mean, just like the food was next level. The ambiance was next level.
Yeah,
everything was just so like we were like out around in town and going to different bars and like everyone just like was like so cool. That's awesome. I love that you're going to Mexico City.
It's an amazing city, and also it's funny because I've spent a lot of time in Playa and then also Tulum, and then 2021 I was in that part of Mexico for 4 months, so I traveled around the Yucatan.
Whoa.
That's like Mayan country, and now I have beef with them.
Really?
I not a fan of the Mayans.
Really?
Not a fan. They're tiny, they're super racist, and they do not respect me as a person. They look at me like I'm a fucking sideshow, and it's fucked up. It's like, first of all, I'm black, I'm female, which there's a whole issue with a lot of that in society.
Yep.
And then I'm alone.
Yeah.
So people just feel like they can treat me however they feel like treating me. People have, like touched me and started taking pictures of me. Like it's been. But anyway, I said that to say it's funny because usually in Playa, most of my matches were from Mexico City.
Okay.
So then there was a point where I was like, I cannot keep coming back to Mexico and being abused. Like, just like being mistreated to a level.
This to myself?
Yeah, like, and spending my money. And I'm trying to relax and I'm coming back pissed, you know? So, but then I thought about it. I don't know if you got to see Teotihuacan, the pyramid.
No.
It's out. Oh my God, it's fucking dope. See, I'm trying not to be one of those people who like gets into like ancient shit. But when you start seeing like old shit, like it just changes you. So I saw 3 different pyramid sites in the Yucatan, and then I was like, bitch, you want to see fucking Teotihuacan. And so that's what made me go back. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, first of all, it's a big country. Not everyone's the same. I mean, people are also rude to me here, but whatever. That's the thing that's funny about being black in America. I'm like, where am I going to ever get respected? You can diss me here and diss me there, whatever. Right. But anyway, but then I was thinking about it too, and I was like, well, most of the dudes that you would chill with were from Mexico City. So I'm like, they're city people. So I would just think like maybe they're a lot more open-minded.
Right.
And then also they just don't have the time. And Mexico City was the complete opposite. Mexico City was just like walking. I just want to be. That's the thing that was sad. I called my friends and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I just walk around. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, no. People stare at me when I'm in the Yucatan. They stare at me like
I look like different and they treat me as such.
Word. But it's like there are other black people around. They're just not alone.
Right.
So that's why they're like, oh, there's a group of black. I can't do anything. But Mexico City, it was just dope. I was just a person. So I didn't have to have my guard up at all times. I could just be and exist and like enjoy the city. It's fucking dope.
Yeah, I want to go back and check out more of their music scene. They like punk rock has always been really big in Mexico City, and I didn't get to do enough of seeing any kind of music aspect when I was there. But okay, so I wanted to ask you, we're talking a little bit about traveling. So you mentioned that it was when you were in Rutgers, you started traveling.
I started traveling actually when I moved to New York.
Okay.
So I moved to New York, I worked in real estate, and then I took my first trip abroad in 2006. So no, well, 2005. So I took late 2005.
Okay.
My first time abroad.
So have you always been a solo traveler?
Yes.
Oh, isn't it the best?
It's amazing.
I mean, what you've just described, what you were talking about in Mexico, being a single black woman.
Word.
That's not the best.
That's not the best. But in general, solo travel will change your life.
It can be very scary, but it is, you do whatever you want when you want to do it.
Yes.
It is just, it's my favorite thing. It really is.
Where have you solo traveled to?
I've gone to Australia.
Ooh, that's far.
Okay, I had a little bit of a handicap because I was going for my boss's wedding.
Word.
But
still,
that was the only.
That's real traveling. That's so far.
I traveled to Australia. We went to Byron Bay, which is like this beach town where the wedding was. Mm-hmm. And then I was on my own. So I went to Melbourne. I went to Sydney.
Nice.
And I was there for about, I think I did a lot in like the span of like 10 days, 12 days. Yeah. And I stayed in hostels, which is the fucking move. I mean, I was younger. I was, probably 25.
Word.
And hostels are the move when you solo travel, because even though like the accommodations can be like, oh, maybe I'm a little bit too old for this, but the ability to meet people, and then all of a sudden you just like become fast friends with people, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, I now have like a group of people to go like check out the bars with, or whatever the case may be.
No, that is smart. This is my problem. Me being the horny bitch that I am.
Yeah.
I have always I've never stayed in a hostel because I've always thought, where am I gonna fuck?
Right. Oh,
so
yeah.
I've always
you make do.
Yeah, like I've always thought I need to make sure that wherever I stay, I can bring someone back.
Yep.
And we'll be able. So that's why I've never stayed in a hostel. But then when I talk to people in a hostel, I'm like, oh yeah, they make a lot of friends.
Yeah, you make a lot of friends.
It makes sense, but I'm like, where am I? I know what I need.
Sounds like you make a lot of friends though when you travel.
I make a roster.
Yeah.
I increase and decrease my roster of men.
Okay, so how do you know how many countries you've traveled to?
I think I counted the other day. Maybe like, is it 10? No, I think it's less than 10. Maybe like 8. My thing is, I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah, you go back to the
So
same.
I like plant roots places.
Yeah. So do you have people in like pretty much each country that you frequent?
Well, for a while, okay, when I first started traveling, I first went to Ireland, which who does that as a black person? I did. But
How'd you like it?
it was dark.
What do you mean?
Like weather wise.
Oh yeah, it's rainy.
It's the gray. The gray is a real adjustment.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the thing. I was there, and then I was like, I mean, the gray is so real. It was like late December, early January. But then I met who's now my ex-husband, and so.
No way.
Yeah, I met him at a reggae club in Ireland, in Dublin.
My shock there was the fact that I didn't know you were married.
Yeah, that's why I would say I've earned my hoeing. All right,
yeah.
Like I was married. I got married when I was 24, and then divorced. Well, separated when I was 27, 28.
Okay, and then after that, it was like it's time to hoe.
Yeah, I mean, I was having fun before,
yeah.
but then it was like,
what happened that you settled down?
Well, I was, you know what? Okay, this is the thing. I am very much a person who thinks that there are things that are supposed to happen in your life.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I know that I know why his name is Charles. I know why Charles was in my life. And there were a lot of things that I needed to learn in that relationship to make me a stronger person. And not just in relationships romantically, but just relationships, period.
Yeah.
So that relationship was in my life for a reason.
Yeah.
And Charles and I, he sent me something on Instagram today. Like, we're still close. He's like family. He's remarried. I don't talk all the time because I'm respecting his marriage. Although they've been together for a long time. I'm like, bitch, you know, first of all, I paid to break up with your man. Second of all, if you look through any of the conversation, there's no hint. Like, I think she knows at this point, like, this is really just his ex-wife that they're friends.
Literally, we're talking almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. So, wow, goddamn, that's real. Wow, that's real. That's the thing. Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, I used to live in Ireland. I'm like, that feels like a lifetime ago. But it's like, it's a real thing. But yeah, so he's not Irish. He's from Ghana. But
okay.
So I met him. I married him 6 months later. And I think I kind of was like, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just get divorced. I'm still young. But in retrospect, I'm like, I needed that to teach me a lot about men, relationships, myself, boundaries. And I think that the thing that I can say now, especially that I'm older, is I am glad that I was the type of woman who said, no, this is not acceptable for me. Like, you can't cheat. I'm not going to be with someone who cheats on me.
Amazing.
I'm not going to be with someone I don't trust. Like, I'm glad that I was the type of woman who said, like, no, this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
And then, but there was a lot of pressure. People would say, like, you have to make this work, And I'm like, no one's telling him that, and he's the one who fucked up. So
yeah. Oh gosh, I feel like now women don't get told you have to make it work. Not in 2020. I mean, there are women do hear that, but I feel like the general sort of feeling is that, you know, we don't stay together for the kids anymore. We grow and we get out of things for the kids and for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm very glad that I just knew that. Also, this is the other thing which I've told Charles multiple times. I've told him, like, Charles, I'm so glad we got divorced because the amount of pleasure that I wouldn't have experienced had I stayed with you. I was young. I hadn't hooked up with that many people at that age or had that many relationships. And my ex-husband does not eat. He still doesn't eat pussy. He does not eat pussy. So it did make it easier to be like, all right, I gotta go.
I don't need to do this. Like,
word. That, and then they just also cheat. Like, you can't fucking cheat on me.
Not eat my pussy and cheat on me,
bro. Exactly.
Like, put that on a shirt.
Yeah, pick one. Pick a lane.
Yeah, pick
a lane, Charles. Yeah. But yeah, no, I did like being married. I loved being married. I was a great wife. That's why he also is still wants to be in my life.
Right.
He has a lot of respect for me, and he always tells me that, Christiana, you're a very good woman. Like, but also his situation, he was an immigrant in Ireland, and Europe mass immigration is new to Europe, within Europe, but then especially from outside of Europe, and it's a shit show. So he was not in a good place in life. And then, eventually it took forever to get the papers. But eventually he got here. By that time, the relationship was already over. But I'll never regret also just like changing his life.
Yeah.
I'll never regret. I mean, I think it's good to just move on. And it's true what they say, like the best revenge is like to live well. Yes. Because I don't even, I don't have any, what's the point in holding on to any of that?
Seem like you hold on to shit.
No, but I've had to work on that because I am a Cancer.
Yeah.
And we're petty and we have those claws. But I can say like, damn man, like Charles, his life completely changed. And I don't hold that against him either. I'm not like, that you wouldn't be shit if it weren't for me.
It's a beautiful thing that you had the ability to impact someone's life so positively.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to you.
Oh, thank you. And then also I feel like karmically that's not why I did it, but.
No, but that is good karma.
Yeah. And then I did it again with somebody else.
You got married twice.
No, I didn't marry the second one.
Okay.
The second one, I just brought him here.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was, well, we were sexual soulmates, but he was crazy.
Sexual soulmates.
Yeah, no, I
like the sound of that.
It's very unproductive. We were productive but unproductive.
It's like
we fucked a lot.
You couldn't be partners in society, but you were great partners in the bedroom.
Yeah, like in terms of drive, he's the person I can say had the closest drive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also crazy, and it was like, all right, well. All right. Poppy, go learn capitalism on your own time. I'm like, he was Cuban. That's why I say that. So I'm like, you're driving me nuts. Go to Macy's and go find some other bitch and leave me the fuck alone.
Totally.
But even he, like, he'll hit me up sometimes. That's a more complicated situation.
Like you have like pretty good I'm sure it runs the gamut in terms of like the men that you have had prior relationships with, if those like on a friendship level, the relationships continue. From the sounds of it, seems like you have a pretty good track record.
I think so. I think the tricky thing is that, well, part of it is I do know that me being a Cancer, when I care about someone, it is hard to let them go. Yeah. And then I think also just the way that we're a very warm, nurturing sign. So that's something that also I think people... Like with Charles and like my ex, his name is Fidel, but it's not a hacky bit. But with Charles and Fidel, I mean, I think that they both know that I'm a good woman, and they fucked up, but they also know that I've moved on with my life, and I'm not like, I don't know, it's not like the door is closed. Right. So they check in to make sure that I'm fine, and sometimes they will say thank you for things, which is nice. Yeah. Not that I'm looking for it. Right. Although Fidel could send me some fucking money. That motherfucker is a shopping addiction. And sometimes he'll send me pictures of things that he bought himself. And I'm like, yeah, good for you. It costs like X amount of dollars to bring your ass here. But whatever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's fucking so motherfucker. That fucking, I'll be like, oh good. You bought yourself a gold bracelet. Yeah. Wonderful. Are you ever going to, all right, Poppy.
All right. Fine. I guess this debt is paid in your eyes.
But it's fine, but it's also like, don't show me that you're buying yourself a bunch of shit and you've never ever even attempted to do right by me. Right. But life goes on. It's fine.
Totally. So what country do you think has the hottest guys, or at least like the hottest one that you've banged?
Okay, this is what's tricky about that. So when I was traveling in Europe, I was married. Right. Then, but also I still feel like they wouldn't be in the running. Then, I vibe best with Latin men, period. That's like, we're on the same wavelength in terms of like passion, sensuality, nastiness. It's a nice little potent cocktail of like, we're going to have a good fucking time. So then in traveling, there were, besides my ex, Fidel, I had hooked up with other Cubans. I would say the sex is like the food, where sometimes it's great and sometimes it's the worst thing you've ever had in your life.
Okay.
So it runs the gamut. Also, Cubans don't always eat pussy. Word. I mean, even like Fidel, I tell him, like, are you going to start eating my pussy or what are we doing? But I think that's also just around a lot of the culture of people that go down there for sex tourism, and that's a whole other story. Or they just don't want to eat pussy. But then once he started, it was a great time.
Yeah, I mean, you're missing out.
It was fucking great.
Like,
yeah, no, he adapted pretty quickly.
Amazing.
But I think I would. But so when I was in Puerto Rico, I only hooked up with one dude. When he came, he said, "I'm tired." And I was like, this is the part of aging that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, all right, but goddamn, you didn't even work that hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I love Puerto Rican men. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm like, I'm in the motherland.
Right.
And had terrible sex. So I'd have to go with Mexico.
Okay. All
right. But also I've hooked up with the most dudes, but I've also traveled there the most using an app.
Oh, okay.
So
like
I think
Tinder or something.
Yeah, I use Tinder.
Got it. Do you play around with the other apps, or is Tinder like your main?
No. Tinder's my bread and butter. The other apps don't have a lot of diversity.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So like I tried Hinge, had very few matches, not a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bumble. Very few matches, not a lot of diversity. And then they were like, we're out of people. And I'm like, all right, well, that's great.
Yeah.
But I've never tried. I didn't even like it here in New York, so I've never tried it abroad. But they're not popular abroad either. Tinder for me is my absolute bread and butter. I love Tinder. It's crazy, but also you can have a lot of fun.
They should sponsor you.
They should.
You are a good ad for Tinder.
Yeah, everyone was like, Tinder doesn't work. I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
It works very, very well for me. And this is what I would say, a little tip if you're going to travel. Depending on where you're, just in general, doesn't matter where you're going, start pre-swipe. I don't care if it makes sense to pay, because if you're horny like me,
right,
if you don't really want to fuck anyway, then save your money. But if you are like me, which is a very small percentage of the population, what I would say is first thing you do is if you kept in contact with some of the people, you hit them back up, see who's single, who's available, who's still willing to cheat, whatever. One guy I was like, hey, I'm coming back. And he was like, okay, I just want to let you know that I'm dating someone. And I was like, oh, I don't want any drama. Like, no worries.
Right.
And he's like, no. I'll still hang out with you. I just want to let you know that I'm dating someone.
All right.
And I was like, well, Poppy.
Listen.
I don't blame him. I mean,
this is you problem.
Yeah, supply and demand. Anyway, but so I hit up the existing poppies.
Yeah.
I call that welcome back dick.
Oh, like
so
that.
I line that up. Or if it's not that good, then I'll call it warm up dick. I'll be like, that was a warm up, but it's not a welcome back. When it's good, I'm like, oh, now I'm back. But anyway, so I'll hit up the existing roster, send them some nudes just as a reminder.
Yeah.
Then I start pre-swiping, because especially if you're going to a place where Tinder's not that popular, they might not be in as much as they are here in the States.
Right.
So like one thing I've learned from just swiping in Mexico, like I would come back and then get guys like months later who'd be like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, nah, I'm gone. But they just don't. They're like, oh, I'm never on this app.
Right.
So I would say also just so you can hit the ground running, because also depending on where you're going, people are, and depending on what your age is, people are busy. They're tired. Sometimes like Mexico, I'll just say this, I'll speak for Mexican dudes. They can be flaky motherfuckers. They will flake the fuck out. Or sometimes they get nervous. Like one guy, we've been talking for like weeks, and he's like, I'm so nervous. And I'm like, why are you nervous? You've seen my pussy, bro.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
This is.
I'm not like the cards are on the table.
Word. But then I'm like, oh, dude, actually though, if somebody was flying in with the anticipation that I was supposed to fuck the shit out of them,
yeah,
I can understand a little bit. But I'm also like, your bar got shut out by the cartel. You can handle giving me some dick. You'll be fine.
Stressful situation.
But I'm not counting. I'm like, he might just like flake out of from nerves.
Right.
So definitely, I would say start swiping at least 2 weeks before your trip.
Okay.
Just so also because I'm a vibe. I'm not just a random like give everyone my pussy hoe.
Yeah.
I gotta feel comfortable with them. There has to be a vibe and an attraction. So I do like having some conversation, so I know. So it's not like, okay, we just met and
there's a methodology.
Oh yeah.
To what you're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of strategy in my hoeing.
So
but
cool.
I would definitely say start pre-swiping, getting to talk to people, making sure they're them, feeling out a vibe.
Yeah.
Also because you're going to a foreign country, you want to make sure like
yeah,
everything's cool. It's not anything dangerous.
Right.
And then also get a sexy Airbnb.
Ooh. Sexy Airbnb. That sounds important.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
The one I have in Tulum, I have a private like rooftop pool. So then I've been telling the dudes, I'm like, yo, like, especially because a lot of them live in Playa, which is an hour away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, you should come to Tulum, hang out with me on my rooftop pool.
Hell yeah.
Be gross.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Do you keep weapons on you?
No.
You're not afraid of, I mean, like you said,
well,
there's the vibe.
I would say this also. If you're traveling alone as a woman, well, I guess you should have weapons on you. But like I tend to stay in doorman buildings.
Okay.
So yeah. I've stayed in buildings that aren't doorman buildings, but usually it's a doorman building.
Yeah.
So, and I'll also let them know that ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that way they know if they have anything planned.
Right.
They know they might flake out ahead of time. So I'll be like, hey, just so you know, I have a doorman. You'll just have to like check in with them. Which when I was in Mexico for 4 months, that was a massive adjustment for the staff. Really? They were not ready for me to be pulling so much dick. And the daytime woman was so pissed. No! She was so fucking pissed. So and then one morning, actually this guy, he's a fucking Libra. He's probably gonna feel that I'm in fucking in like Tulum and hit me up.
Can you please let me know if he hits you
I
up?
will. He
please.
Probably will. He has a
it.
girlfriend. She is fat and not in a. She wears too much. It's that she wears too much makeup.
Right.
But anyway, I've seen their fucking. Oh my god, I love you so much.
I love you.
I just want to be like, bitch, I have fucked your man. He made me come 5 times. I couldn't sleep on half the bed after we fucked.
Oh my god.
Word. He wants some more of that. Anyway, whatever. But
talk about Libra men.
No. There's a bunch of Libra men in Mexico, in Playa or Tulum that I have caught cheating. Dang. Specifically. Yeah. And then Mexico City there's a few too. But anyway, what was I saying about that guy?
This lady, was it getting annoyed with you?
Oh yeah. So the morning that he came to visit, she called. And he was like, because he's texted me on WhatsApp, he's like, they're not letting me up. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was like waiting lingerie, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh, I gotta put some clothes on. So I went downstairs and she was like, if you're gonna have guests, like, just like call us and because they have to show their ID. And I want to be like, first of all, bitch, I know you're tight because you're like, who's this bitch who's not from here who keeps pulling men who are 5'8" or taller, which is tall for Mexico. Yeah. I'm like, I know why the fuck you're tight because yesterday afternoon I would chill with another motherfucker. Yep. Now it's 10:22 in the morning and a different one's here. Yep. I know why you're pissed because also he's, oh my god, both of them are so fucking cute. So she was like, just like call us and let us know. And I was like, I've been here for a month. No one told me to the front desk that you have a phone number.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, why would I subject? I'm like, great. Now I don't have to see you fucking judging me. Yeah. I was like, yeah. I said, what's the number for the front desk? I've been here for a month already. I had no idea. Yeah. I would have been giving you a heads up. Right. But also, she made them sign in. And that's where I was like, she's trying to get me busted. Did you ever watch Goodfellas? Yeah. You know when Lorraine Bracco is signing in to go see Ray Liotta in jail and she sees Janice, that I'm like, this is what she's trying to do to me.
That's what she was trying to do.
Yeah, because she'd have them sign in and write everything out and let it out. Which first of all, I'd be like, I'm not trying to learn their full name.
Time
out. And I was like, she'd be like, yeah, make sure you sign in. I'm like, fuck you.
Christiana
they don't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. Like, apartment, blah blah blah. I was like, fuck you, bitch. I know what you're trying to do. Oh. They don't care. They're cheating on somebody.
I don't think they care. They kind of get the gist.
The fuck out of here. They know I got good at sucking dick. It's not by osmosis.
Right. Oh my God, that's so funny. She was
yeah, she was fucking tight
of your suitors.
Then eventually, like the nighttime guy I thought was judgy, but then I realized he was just tired.
Yeah.
But and then eventually I think they just realized like, okay, she's chill, she's very respectful, she's friendly to everyone. She just fucks a bunch of dudes. Like, I wasn't having any it's just me in the apartment. Like, there was no like, oh, she's coming in drunk. Parties. Or yeah. It's like, all right, she's here by herself.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that, like, stay in, depending on what country you're going to as well. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to a country that's a little bit, I would suggest staying in, like, a doorman building. It's worth it, just so you know that they're... Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, the dog.
Oh, my God, terrified. I was like, what happened? So I think that way you know that they're potential witnesses.
Right.
And or if there's no doorman, make sure there are cameras in the building.
Okay.
Because I stayed in a building and it turns out they had there was no doorman, and then there was no cameras, and the neighbor from the floor above me, they got wiped the fuck out as they were sleeping.
No.
Word. That's why I was like, bitch, you got lucky this time.
Yeah.
But like, make sure. No, sorry, they were a floor below me. I was like, make sure
Someone just came in and like.
They stole everything. So I was like 8 something in the morning, and there was a knock on the door, and someone was like, "Do you speak Spanish?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you have your stuff?" And I was like, "I think so." And she's like, "We got completely robbed. They stole all their electronics. They stole all their shoes." They stole their fucking money. Like, they took their wallets. Like, she's like, we got wiped out completely. But also, I did want to say to her, well, girl, last night, you guys, hello. How are you? We're recording a podcast, my friend.
It's like it's time for me to make an appearance.
Oh, dogs are the best.
He's really laying it on thick.
But, like, the thing is, I think it was an inside job. Ooh. Because their balcony door was broken, but how would anyone know that?
Right.
So, and they were only supposed to be there for like 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah.
They were also Mexican too, which made it even like, I was like, damn, man, you robbing for real people. But they came in through the balcony door and took all their shit. But then one of my friends who was staying that same neighborhood, he's like, that same thing happened to me like a few years ago. Like, I mean, I hate to bring it back to the Mayans, but that's their part of Mexico. But they're like ninjas. Like, they will come in and while you're like, he was sleeping on his bed naked, and when that couple got robbed, it was a couple, they were both sleeping, didn't hear a thing.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you said that the people like below me got wiped, I thought you meant like of their lives.
Oh no, they're alive. They just didn't have any shoes.
They were in the room and it got ransacked.
That's what's terrifying to me.
Just the idea of someone, a stranger in my room
while you're sleeping, robbing you.
Oh, that makes my neck get all.
Oh no, that shit fucked me up.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it could still, depending on how shady the country that you're in, it could still happen in a doorman building.
Yeah.
Because people can pay people,
but there is like a layer of security.
Yeah. At least that. Like I just feel, like I said, even if it's a matter of communicating to the dude or the woman, because men get robbed too.
Right.
That happens. I mean, I don't want to get too much of the dark side of things that happen, but I'm like in too deep. I'm like different expat groups in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I'm like in too deep where people will be like, this is what happened to me. I met a woman on Tinder. We went to the beach. We had 1 drink. We went back to my place, woke up a day later. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
I got drugged. Like, I mean, you just be, if you're hooking up when you're traveling.
Yeah.
Always, safety is, I always put safety above my horniness.
Yes.
But then also, like, that's why I always say, like, it's not necessarily, if you're not already in a certain mode, don't do it when you're outside of the country.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do drugs, so I'm not going to go to the jungle and do fucking DMT. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's not already, that's not like part of my DNA already.
Totally.
I don't have that kind of, so stay in your lane when you're traveling and stay safe. If you're not someone who's used to, like, hooking up with people, don't then go buck wild when you're out of the country.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah, because you don't have that. You're not used to maybe feeling people out even.
Right.
Like, there was some. Oh yeah. Here's a good scenario. There was a guy we we met like right outside my building, and when I tell you, we could have just fucked right on the street. It was like immediate, like, oh, like, what's up with you, blah blah blah. Very very like very touchy. It was immediately attracted to each other. He wasn't from Mexico. He was from Belize and Honduras.
Okay.
So I called him Black. He was black. I called him Black Poppy. So I'm like, oh, I got a Black Poppy finally, because there aren't that many black people in Mexico.
Right.
But then, so me and Black Poppy hooked up. It was cool. But then, like, the next day, he was like, hey, my friend wants to have a threesome with you. And I'm like, who the fuck is your friend?
Who's this friend?
Who's this guy? And then I'm like, who is this person? And then the guy, he sent me a picture. I'm like, first of all, this person's not attractive. And I was like, what sign is he? And he's like, he's a Sagittarius. And I was like, oh, that's definitely not going to work. And the guy was a Sagittarius who's a rude asshole.
Dang.
But also, I'm like, I think they just want to come back and rob me.
Right.
I was like,
So
because I didn't say I wanted a threesome.
Right.
Why are you telling this dude about me?
Right.
And then I ended up getting sick. I had like a crazy fever. It was probably, I don't know, it was probably from whatever. It was probably an ST. I don't know. Well, anyway, whatever it was something. But I had like 103 fever and this massive thing like growing in my throat. But, I think actually a Libra was the guy who, one of the Libras is the one who made me sick. Anyway, but I was so sick. And then the guy was just asking me directly for money. And I was like, I just paid all this money to have a doctor like come to my apartment, which did feel fancy.
Yeah.
That felt fancy. I was like, oh my God, I'm like an old rich white person in an old movie. It was amazing. But I was like, I spent all this money on like the doctor and then like medicine, because I was scared I had COVID. It was 2021.
Oh, okay.
I was like, just have someone come. I don't want to spread anything.
Right.
And then he was like, this is why I was like, this is how I know this motherfucker ain't shit. He goes, okay, but I'm not asking for much. And he never told me a number. I'm like, you're like a PBS telethon pitch.
Right.
Asking me for fucking money. So that's why I was like, this is why I'm glad I didn't let these motherfuckers back in my apartment.
Yeah,
probably,
absolutely.
But also when you're traveling, if you do have someone come and hook up, lock all your shit up.
Yes.
I put everything either in the safe, or I also just don't bring that much stuff of value anyway.
Right.
But
passport.
put it all in your suitcase. Put the lock on your fucking suitcase. So then if they want to rob you, they have to drag your suitcase out.
Yeah.
Which, is possible, but usually not ideal.
Yeah. Clunky.
Word.
Oh man. Well, that's great tips. And I'm not saying like, as a matter of safety, go off of vibes, but I feel
like it is very true.
You have a really have to be very perceptive. You knew right away when that guy was offering you, or not even offering, but like inquiring
suggesting.
about a threesome.
Yeah, I was like, these motherfuckers want to rob me.
Yeah, you're like, no, like your alarm bells go off, and so that is also a part of it. Like if you have a bad feeling, that's all the information you need. That's all the information you need. Don't fucking do it.
Also, like, if someone's trying to there was a guy, he got robbed from a tourist. He's Mexican. He got robbed from a tourist. Oh. And I was like, what kind of bullshit? But it was such a dumb story. He's like, first of all, he was communicating with like weird not quite emojis, but like before there were emojis, we used to use like symbols.
Yeah.
And it was like somebody running, and then I'm like, and then I pieced it together. I'm like, did you get robbed? It was like a woman running, and then like the phone was gone. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, did you get robbed? And then eventually he got another phone. He told me what happened. He's like, yeah, I was hanging out with this. I met this girl in a bar. We were hanging out, and then she wanted to get high, which I thought, okay, he didn't say he wanted to smoke weed because he was a right. So I was like, that's not weed, because he never says like I'm getting high. He's a regular smoker. So I bookmarked that, and I was like, I'll get back to that later. Yeah. And he basically, they got high, and then when he fell asleep, she fucking robbed him. Now, then I asked, I was like, what were you smoking? What were you doing? Were you smoking weed? Yeah. He's like, no, crystal meth.
Yeah. Which
I wanted to go, first of all, if a tourist wants to do crystal meth with you,
no.
That person's a junkie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Why are you doing crystal meth with a tourist? This person doesn't live in your country.
Yeah.
But they're smoking meth?
That's a vagabond.
We're instincts. Hello. I mean, granted, he was probably drunk.
Right.
But Jesus, that Paul, God damn. And I was like, Paul, you need to get your shit together. And then I remember
Paul,
he was
you deserve that. I hate to say it, but you deserve it.
Yeah, no, you totally deserve it. What are you doing smoking fucking meth with a tourist for? Why are you smoking meth, period?
Yeah.
But I told him, because then this was like in between trips to Mexico in like 2020, 2021. And then he knew I was coming back, and he was like, do you not want to hang out with me? Because I lost my job and my car and my phone. And I was like, Paul, I don't want to hang out with you because I was like, I have my own money. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, I don't want to hang out with you because you have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to focus on that.
You
like,
do risky shit.
Get clean.
Yeah.
You have a drinking problem already.
Yeah.
Then apparently you smoke crystal meth. I'm like, that's why. I'm like, I don't even really drink.
Right.
I'm not hanging out with someone who just will casually partake in crystal meth.
Absolutely.
Are you insane? But then I also wanted to be like, but that other shit also doesn't help, Paul. Like, I try to hang out with someone who is a bum.
Yeah, you don't have the best case. Oh man.
My God. Poor Paul.
Oh, poor Paul. Hope you're doing well, Paul.
I think he's in Jamaica now.
Oh, all right.
He
probably
was
getting robbed.
He wasn't gonna. He's like a wedding photographer.
Oh, okay.
And like landscape photos or some shit. So he was gonna go last year, but he's like, I need to clean up before I get out to Jamaica. So then I saw like he posted pictures of Jamaica, and I was like, all right, I guess he's either clean or just decided, let me go smoke crystal meth in Jamaica. Do they have crystal meth in Jamaica?
I wouldn't know.
I guess I would not know. When I think of Jamaica, I don't think crystal meth.
No, I think weed.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe cocaine.
Yeah,
probably cocaine.
Any tropical place, any place. I think cocaine. Cocaine's like a
Word.
Thing wherever.
But also, they're probably tourists that want to do cocaine when they're there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, well, we have to wrap up here. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Sorry, he hurt his leg, so he's a little bit.
No, he's great.
Go. So he's a little. Normally, he just like jumps.
No, he's great.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. So insightful. I learned so much from you, and you're so funny.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely. Where can people find you?
My Instagram is incomparable MSC. That's all of not Facebook, but who uses that anymore except for. Even comics, we're not even using that for our petty beef anymore. But it's also on TikTok. I do miss the drama. What's comedy without the drama?
I know.
I'm also on TikTok, but I barely use it. I should start. Maybe during this trip. I'll have time.
You would make a killing on TikTok with just like really 2-minute funny stories of like random travel stories.
I should start.
Yeah.
I just forget.
I know.
I get bogged down with chores.
Yeah. It's just so many apps, so many things.
Yeah, now there's Threads. It's like, come on, let's stop.
I know. But I don't want to be I don't want to be eaten by it. I don't want to be the person that doesn't know how to make a PDF. I want to know
it's very true.
What it is.
No, it's very true.
So I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Catch you next week.